What's going on, guys? Bruce Mattson here, your host show, Metric Scout Fantasy Football, and it's that time of the week where we dig into the rankings, and today we're doing our top 40 running back rankings for week 4 for PPR Fantasy Football. If that's something you're into, if this helps you out, make sure you hit that subscribe button, save this video or whatever, so you can come back to it to help you set your lineups. But let's dig into this. Let's take a look at these running backs for this week. The first thing we look at every time we do this is the over-unders. We do it for the wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, tight ends. We do this to have a look at the game script that is being projected. These are over-unders from oddshark.com, which is an average from a bunch of different books. And we're not looking directly at the numbers. We're just trying to see whether Vegas is telling us this is supposed to be a high-scoring game or not. And the reason why we want to know this is because if there's more points scored in the game overall, then there's more chances or opportunities that the players in that game could produce fantasy points. Does it always happen? No. Is this a tool that we can use to help gauge? Yes. It's a guideline. Games that are projected to score like 40, 39, 40 points are more likely going to be lower scoring games. You'll get your oddball games, yes, but a lot of those are going to be lower scoring games, as here with the top, with the 50 over-unders and so forth. Of course, injuries throughout the week could throw these off. These are a guideline, but I suggest you take a picture of this, snapshot it, whatever, so you can have it when you set your lineups. You can do it with your wide receivers, your tight ends, your quarterbacks. Obviously, you want to start the guy in the best situation possible. And if you're tied on two players, one's in a great matchup, 50 overall, over-under. The other one's in an over-under around 42 or so. Maybe you want to take a chance on the other guy in the better game script. Maybe you don't. Maybe you think the other game script's going to go nuclear and Vegas is wrong. But at least you have the data to look at. But let's move on to the running backs here, as that is part of our process. Here's our top 10. You're starting all of these guys. The top 10, it's weird to rank because it's like, yeah, I'm starting all these guys. Why does it matter? I'm not going to have like 5 of these guys on my team to have to worry about. But you may want to look at this from a DFS perspective or whatever. I have them ranked Saquon, CMC, Austin, Eckler, and Jonathan Taylor. Taylor, I'm bumping up a little bit mentally here because when I did this, it was yesterday. The injury was in. He was out of practice. I don't know yet what the touch distribution is going to be like. As you can see, all the top guys here are in lower over-unders, lower implied point totals. Some are a little higher than others, but they're still low to where it's not affecting me too much. I like all of them. They get enough workload. They get enough usage in the passing game. Pretty high on Saquon this week, mainly because he's been getting loads of work in the passing game. He's explosive, and he's always there to pop off for that big run. But in this top 3, top 4 is considered like a tier to me, so it doesn't even matter. I could shake it up within the minute because I'm that type of person. When we get lower in this group of 10, Jamal Williams here against Seattle. Seattle's just in weird game scripts. Jamal Williams here, though, getting that big workload with Swift out, getting some touchdown looks. Detroit is just moving the ball. They're explosive. They got Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jamal Williams is going to get an opportunity to score. I feel pretty safe with him. I'm pretty high on him. I am, considering he's a backup or 1B, 1A, 2A, whatever you want to call him as a running back to this team, getting more workload this week. Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, Najee Harris, Aaron Jones. When I look at those guys, it's like same old, same old. These guys are getting touches. They're getting workload. Joe Mixon is going to catch some balls out of the backfield. He does have that little injury he was nicked up with. He's supposed to play tonight. But let's see what that touch distribution is going to be. Overall, if it wasn't for that, I'd have him ranked higher. So if you think I'm low on him, it's because I'm conservative because of the injury. If you think I'm high on him due to the injury, yeah, I'm kind of high on him. I feel like I'm a little high on him. But if you think I'm low on him because of that, yeah, it's because I'm being conservative just in case his touch count gets lowered a little bit. Derrick Henry had a good game last week. I feel like in some of these matchups, it's just going to kick on for him due to him getting the touches. Same thing with Alvin Kamara. A lot of usage in the passing game. That's going to turn around some of these matchups. Against Minnesota, this is going to be a high-flying game, explosive. Najee Harris still gets touches. Running backs who get touches eventually score points if they're not scoring points. So Najee Harris got a touchdown last week, got some carries. I look for him to do something this week. At least be palatable, have a high floor. Aaron Jones is a wild card against New England. Don't really like him at 10, so I might be bumping him down when I do my tiers rankings here later this week on the channel. You may want to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss that out, because I take these rankings and I flip them around and do them in tiers. But Aaron Jones might be dropping down because I don't like that matchup against New England, but I recognize he's getting touches, and I hate the running backs this year. I hate the pool of running backs. And then we look at this rankings from 11 to 20, and you can kind of see why. I feel like I'm too low on Leonard Fournette. I want to move him up. Maybe even to the top 10. I think he's going to get a lot of opportunity against Kansas City. I feel like this is a good opportunity to start him. I don't know why the over-under is so low. I'm guessing because Tampa Bay is going to try and slow down the clock. I don't know why they're projecting that out. I feel like they're going to smash it over here. I feel like Kansas City is going to try and push this game. It's a very interesting one here. I want to be up higher on Leonard Fournette. I gauged this against some other rankings, and I was a little high on him still. I want to be higher on Leonard Fournette. Again, when I talk about my rankings, I go through the process in my head while I'm doing the video. Sometimes I just want to move people. I want to move Leonard Fournette up a little bit. I like Patterson against the Browns a little bit. I think this is going to be a tricky game script, though. And when it's a tricky game script, sometimes Patterson can get you that sneaky score or whatever. Khalil Herbert, explosive, gets touches. Weird matchup against New York. Bears are always in weird matchups. Dameon Pierce, tough matchup against LA, but let's see what happens with him. Things are starting to click with him as well. Kareem Hunt, I can see him catching some passes in this game. Dalvin Cook, I'm a little bit lower because of shoulder injury. I don't know what the touches are going to look like, but I didn't want to be too low, but I didn't want to be too high. I'm kind of like being Bayesian until some of this news comes out, but I'm very interested in Dalvin Cook. I don't want to put him so low that I'm automatically sitting him, and then all of a sudden he gets touches, but I don't want to put him too high because of the injury and he doesn't get that many touches. I just want to feel things out. It's still only Thursday. It's early Thursday, and I just need more information, so I'm not really 100% done with him. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I feel like I'm too low on him, but I also don't like the matchup against Tampa Bay. They're a little bit tough on running backs, and I don't know. I feel like I need to bump him up a bit, but he's also averaging 11.5 touches per game, so the lower touch total is not a good indicator in some of these lower or poor matchups. Breece Hall, we are sleeping on him. I got him in the top 20. He scores as a RB1 some weeks due to his work in the passing game. We could see that here against Pittsburgh. Miles Sanders had a down week last week, but he's explosive, been getting work, and some of these game scripts allow him to blow up. Our next 10, 21 through 30. Alexander Madison. I want to pump him up, but I'm also scared that Dalvin just harnesses his shoulder up, gets a lot of touches, and Madison's just there to get some extra workload, just a little bit to annoy us. However, it could be the Alexander Madison show, and whenever Cook's out, he averages 20 PPR fantasy points a game, over that a little bit. So we don't know. Maybe we'll get some news later this week, but we had news saying that Cook sounds like he's good. I'm just being Bayesian right now. I am interested in Madison right now more than this ranking is. So when I do my tiers later, once I get more news in me come Friday, you may want to stick around for that because I might be bumping him up or moving him around into tiers. Josh Jacobs, I feel like he's always in this spot where he's getting touches, but it's not always hitting. Tony Pollard's explosive. He is just waiting to go boom any single week. A.J. Dillon, I got him ranked kind of low compared to his counterpart. And the thing is that they're just as likely to score the same amount of fantasy points. And New England's a horrible matchup. I feel like Aaron Jones, I need to bump down a bit, and I'm probably going to fix that. I probably already said that too when I was talking about him on his slide. Not huge on Jeff Wilson. Honestly, I'm not very huge on many running backs going down further. I honestly hate this group of running backs this year. I'm interested in J.K. Dobbins, but I'm not sold on him. I think this is an interesting matchup. I think the Bills, even though it's a high implied point total, could make it tough for Dobbins, but also Dobbins could be explosive. He could get some touches, but he is a gamble. He's a guy you put in your lineup, close your eyes, see what happens. So if you're saying Dobbins or this guy, it's Dobbins. Close your eyes, shut your mouth, and let's see the score on Monday, because you don't know what you're going to get, because it could be 30, it could be 0, because that's what we're asking about. Damian Harris against Green Bay, Ramondre Stevenson against Green Bay. Not the greatest matchup, and one of these guys will probably do something. The other guy will probably be flirting with RB3, RB2 numbers. So that's what you're getting with these guys. You know you're going to get something out of one of them, but you don't know which one. That's why they're kind of where they're at. Last 10, Zeke. I'm down on him. Actually, I want him gone from all my teams if I have him on any teams. Melvin Gordon's always sneaky. He is sneaky to sneak in the RB1 territory just because of the offense, the usage of the running backs, and just how good he is. He's still good at his old age. 45 over under, gets touches, had an RB1 week or close to an RB1 week, like I think in week 2. So productive. Michael Carter. Zach Wilson's back. Carter got targets last year. This could be a little bump in his production. Chase Edmonds looks explosive, but against Cincy, interesting matchup. I might be too low on him. Cam Akers. I don't even know why I got him ranked here. I know, we're not getting an RB1 week out of him, but we could, because he is still kind of explosive, but it's also a horrible matchup against the Niners. Travis Etienne hasn't been living up to what we've been hoping he'd be, and it shows in the ranking here. Still, he's got some pop in his step. Maybe it could be this week. 47 over under. Jacksonville might be checking it down to him. It's James Robinson's show, though. Rashad Penny, I'm done with him. It's over for me with him. I don't want him on many of my teams. I just have him ranked because we're damn near down to 40. Same with Kenneth Walker. I'm honestly looking for him to have his big game. I don't know when it's going to happen. It could be this week, next week, or the week after. But he should be popping off soon. He should be taking over because he's a good running back. Samaje Perine here just in case. Just in case the injury to Joe Mixon increases during the game, or it's bad enough to where they got to use Perine a lot. I just want him thrown in there. Darrell Henderson because he gets touches. Cam Akers, you know the deal. You know him in week 1 and how they just flip-flop with the touches. So you always got to have him in there, but I hate the matchup. Once you get into this 30 range, the guys that don't have ranks here, like 41, 42, 43, 45, 50, or even farther back, I don't value them much less than these guys here, like 35, 36. So if there's somebody like better and you want to start them, start them. Just do what you want here. But these are the top 40 running backs for this week. Let me know in the comments what you think. Drop it in there. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. It really helps the video and the algorithm. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Helps the channel and it'll help you because I'm dropping fantasy football content left and right every day, all day long. Again, I want to thank you and I'll catch you on the next vid.